to celebrate the Spooky Month and Chucky, the TV series, we decided to post the episodes about the Child's Play franchise we recorded almost 1 year ago. Yes, we didn't feel Christmassy, we didn't feel wintry at all, we were deep into this pandemic, but we still recorded episodes almost every day. So we really hope you will enjoy. Happy Halloween, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Beneath Your Skin. This is Gaia, doing more or less the same as always. So crazy and still not going around eating brains. So yeah, the world is still somehow safe, at least from me. Hello, my dear. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm living in a time loop. But you know what? If that time loop is it goes around in a circle, I watch a film and do a podcast, go to work, it's not a bad time loop. It could be worse.
That's good to know that at least we are helping you to survive your time loop. And it's a good thing we are not on Gallifrey. Otherwise,
Exactly.
the time loop would have been a little bit worse, I guess. Well, what can I say? Today we are going to talk about a cult movie, a classic from 1988. And yes, we are talking about Child's Play. Because, we started talking about possessed dolls with the Annabelle franchise, and then we watched the Doll franchise, and now, of course, it's Chucky's moment. I really forgot how extreme and too much the 80s movies were and how much I loved that. I mean, come on. The beginning of the movie, the fake flashes that we see when Brad Dourif is starting his voodoo ceremony to transfer his own spirit into the doll. Oh God, that was so extreme, so too much and so good. And okay, people, I adore Brad Dourif. I think he works his magic at best when he's playing the villain. We only see him for a few minutes on screen, but then he becomes Chucky. God, his voice! It was perfect. I can't imagine Chucky with anyone else's voice because Chucky is Brad Dourif or Brad Dourif is Chucky. So yeah, it was damn good to see him playing the crazy serial killer turning into a crazy serial killer doll.
I love this movie. I love it. I remember watching it like back in the day, and I've always had a soft spot for this film. And it's so 80s. I love 80s cinema. I love all the the long coats and the neon signs and the alleyways and just like everything like the flashing lightning special effects. And it's just like, oh, this is so good. But the thing is, it really holds up. Yes, the lightning effects, those effects, it looks like fake lightning. But the rest of the movie is like, it's well paced, it's very like visceral, it looks realistic, the acting is on point, the characters are believable. There's some silly like 80s like nonsense every now and again, but you just buy into it. And oh my god, the puppeteer and animatronics works are unbelievable. Like to this day, I'm like, this is so good. The way the facial movements are, the body movements, by the end of it when he's just a skull and all the melty flesh movements, the puppet work on this is outstanding. On a technical point, it is perfect. You have never seen a living doll come alive so perfectly. There are so many films that do everything so CGI now, and I'm at practical effects are still the best because the practical effects on Chucky still look 100% real. Like now, I was just so amazed. I mean, I love the fact that it's just being dragged around like a doll with like absolutely just like limp. It's a doll, and they spend like half the film kind of like going, it's just a doll, it's just a doll. And I tried to put myself in the mind of like seeing it for the first time. And you see the camera from Chucky's point of view. So it's this moving around the place as if Chuck. So you never see the doll move. You see its location change. I mean, these modern ones that we've watched, particularly things like the doll franchise, there's so much to learn from this. Like the point of view of the doll moving around, so they don't actually have to show the doll moving, but you get the sense it's moving around the place. Like you see like the hammer, but you don't really see anything holding the hammer. You just see the hammer being raised to, like, kill the woman as she falls dramatically out the window. And that's in the first 15 minutes of the film, and you're like, whoa, that escalated fast.
And so extreme. The way she flies from the window is so extreme, so 80s. I mean, in how many movies we watched one woman flying through the windows and then slow motion, and we know if a body falls from a window, it reached the ground very fast. No, not in the 80s movie. There is this slow motion of arms and legs like she's trying to fly. And then, of course, she crashed. The only car parked under the building. It always happens. Whenever someone falls from a window, they end up on a car. That's the only logical way to end such a scene. So it was extreme, it was too much, and it was good. Because, like Zoe said, it holds up. I mean, and then, even in a movie that is light and fun, yeah, because even if it belongs to the horror genre, it's nothing like very heavy horror or slash or splatter that we watched in our lives. It's very light, it's funny. I can't stand the child going around calling Chucky, 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 Chucky. No, please. I really wish someone would have done something bad to that child. But then, yeah, come on, shut up, boy, please.
Sweet.
No, it was just bothering
Chucky
me.
did it. Chucky did it.
But in the end, when you see something that sadly really happened in the 80s, you see how he was taken and put in a mental hospital. And okay, you were like, okay, no, even if he was an annoying little boy, he doesn't deserve this. Even if Chucky wasn't real and he did what he was accused for, that's not the way to deal with mental illness in a child so young. I was actually very glad when the doctor died.
Yes.
Because, yeah, so I was actually, I mean, he deserved it. Perhaps it was a little bit too much because basically Chucky fried his brain, literally. But hey, you love so much electroshock therapy.
Yeah.
Well, it's poetic justice.
If you're prepared to do it on a little 6-year-old boy who says he's got an imaginary friend, you're not a good person. It's like, you just clearly want to torture a child. Like, why not? Like, there's a lot of other ways to get to the root of why a child has an imaginary friend. And electroshock therapy and locking him in a freaking jail cell, essentially, is not how you cure mental health issues in a child who's obviously bereaving because we find out that the father has died. So it's like, no, there's a lot of logic why a child might have an imaginary friend. But I do like the fact that, like, how each person came to realise that Chucky was alive. Because it's just like, I always remember the bit with the batteries, and you're just like, oh no, and the mum's like, oh, wait a minute, there's no batteries, and she puts 2 and 2 together really quickly. And I'm like, go, mum, you were a really good mum. Because you were desperate to get your child back. You put 2 and 2 before. You believe your child. You know this is going on. And then you go and find evidence. Yes, she puts herself in some stupid situations. But she knows the truth. And she didn't spend the whole movie going, like, freaking Maya from The Doll going, oh, it's not real. We don't believe in spirits. You literally fought a possessed person in the last movie. You know it's real. The mum was like, no, dolls don't talk. Wait a minute. Okay, doll, talk. And you can't go wrong with Chucky's personality. It's so, like, the one-liners and the way he speaks, and so good. He's such a dick. Such a dick.
Oh, yes. And as I said, Brad Dourif gives 100% his best when he plays the villain. I already said that I adore Brad Dourif in The Exorcist 3. I adore Brad Dourif as the Mentat Peter de Vries in Dune, in David Lynch Dune.
Yeah.
God, he's so twisted, so perverted. And even now, he is able to twist and pervert a doll, a toy,
Yeah.
something that should be safe, should be the safest thing you can give your child. But no, no, he's so amazing. And of course, at the beginning of the movie, you have to wonder, well, how many possibilities are there that a serial killer also knows Latin and knows how to transfer his spirit into something else? And of course, we find out why he knows how to do that. People, I have just one thing to say. If you ever meet a voodoo priest who tells you with his last breath to shoot someone or something in the earth, please don't show how skilled as a shooter you are, tearing apart a doll, starting with the head, then one arm, then one leg. No, go for the earth, okay? Because if someone who knows what they are doing tells you that the only way to stop the doll, the thing, whatever you are dealing with, is shooting through his earth, do that. Do that, please. Because otherwise, well, what can I say? The dog will keep moving and trying to kill you, even if you burn it, you tear it apart. And then, of course, the only sane character in the movie arrives and he's like, what are you talking about? And he does the only thing that he was warned not to do. Don't touch any piece of the doll. He comes back with the doll head. Yeah, good choice. That's exactly what I told you not to do. But hey, at least in this movie, for once, we don't have to wonder what they are going to tell the police because the police is there from the beginning.
Yep. But I like the fact that they gave it a mythology and they gave it because at first you're like, why does Brad Dourif know like weird satanic rituals? How does he know to transfer his soul? And it's like they have that investigation element that is what good horror does, where you have the investigation element and you find out the backstory and you're like, oh no, he's a crazy serial killer. He was obsessed with cult like stuff and resurrection. He found someone who could tell him how to do it. There was more to this guy than just being like, two-bit hood. There was more to him, and he was also, batshit. And so yeah, he's worked out how to do it. And I mean the personality of Chucky just shines through that doll. Like his line deliveries, even when he's not moving. I always love the bit when the old couple are in the lift and it's going up and she turns around and goes, ugly doll. And he's just sitting there and you don't see him moving. You just see but you see the delivery on the line of like, fuck you, bitch. Like, it's just like delivered so well. And I love it all. I even love the really cheesy, like when he's like, no, Andy, no, Andy, I thought we're friends till the end. And Andy's like, this is the end. And I'm like, yeah, you go, Andy. You deliver that hero line. And then obviously you have about 5 fake outs because Chucky will not die. It's like, I'm burnt alive. I've been chopped to pieces. It's like, go for the heart, people. Like Chucky knows what he's doing. He's going around slashing Achilles tendons left, right, and centre. He knows he's a doll, and he's like, "Quick, get the ankles, get the ankles!" So all these men just keep falling down, and they're like, they can't do anything. It's like, there's a killer doll on the loose. Check around your feet.
Yeah, even if the doll was very tall. I mean, I am a short person, but damn it, that was a big doll. Not as big as Annabelle, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
more or less.
Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina, yeah. People, don't buy dolls that are taller than your kids. That could be a good advice, I think. Even if they are not killer dolls or they are not possessed dolls, they are still taller than your child. How are they supposed to carry the doll around if doll is taller than the child?
Yeah. But also, maybe don't buy dolls off homeless people in the street.
Yeah, that too.
You
That
know.
too. Probably that too. Okay, you know what? Don't buy dolls because something bad always happens around dolls. And I'm talking like someone who collected China dolls when I was younger. Now they are in my basement. So you are warned.
I can
If I
imagine it being
die,
terrifying going down there and all these China dolls will be
e-
staring at you. You'll be like,
exactly. So
oh.
if I die in a very strange way and someone of you gets the great idea to investigate my house, there are China dolls in the basement. Be warned. There are China dolls in the basement.
Yeah, it's amazing how
That's all I had
scary
to say.
dolls end up getting. Like, it's just like, no, that's okay. We'll play with something else. No dolls now.
It was it was good. It was fun. It was a good way to spend 1 hour and 20,
Yeah, because it's
not
not
more.
long.
No,
Like, it's to the point, and I say it's pretty fast editing. I mean, you're intrigued the whole way, and it's like, it's really, really like, they do the Chucky stuff really subtly, and then he hammers woman out like the window. Then it was kind of subtle, and then he blew up a house, and it's just like, subtle, not sure what's going on, could be a bit of a mystery. Explosions! I'm like, oh yeah, the 80s. I forgot, we need explosions. It's the 80s. It's explosions, slow motion, someone trying to aim a gun. It was like point blank. It's like, oh, is he going to shoot or is he going to shoot in the air? Like, he's like, gotta have some of that. Language, lots of language, bad swearing.
and big guns.
Yeah,
Don't forget the big guns that are metaphor for something else. So
yep. And it's just like, it's, I just can't believe how good Chucky looked. I cannot get over those animatronics. I cannot get over how good the puppetry was, but just how much personality shone through. He's got such a fully fledged, fully realised personality with lore and a background and like legitimate beef and reasons. There was no plot holes. He said what he was going to do. He did it. He found out why. He came back, continued what he was doing, then found out why he wanted to go back and get Andy. They thought out all the stages of how to get it back so it was a small film about, mum and son trapped in an apartment with a doll that's nuts and trying to kill him. And the facial expressions, the way his face moved, just so good.
and we got the answer to one question everyone who read the titles of the whole franchise probably asked themselves. There is one movie that is called The Seed of Chucky. And of course, if you don't know anything about the first movie, you have to wonder what they are talking about. But then the voodoo priest tell us that the more the spirit inhabits the doll, the more the doll becomes human. That's why he can bleed. And that's why shooting him in the earth should have worked. We will find out next time why it didn't work so well.
Yeah, yeah. Like, we've got 7 more of these movies, so we were like, I can't wait. It's so fun, and it's just like, it's such a good movie, and it's a good
Yes.
80s horror film, and it's why the classics are great, because we watch so many films for reviewing, and there's hidden gems, but my goodness, people have lost what makes a good like horror movie, and either like too much CGI, or they just don't plot it. And there just seems to be no plotting. And this one, it had its storyline. Yes, it's got some crazy moments and stuff, but at least they were all in line with what it was trying to tell.
Indeed, it worked. It was good, it worked, it was fun. It gives you the creep for dolls. So, yeah, it did exactly what it wanted to do and what it said it would have done. So, thank you, Zoe, for choosing this franchise. At least the first one is good.
Yes, we'll see what happens with the rest. I think I've only seen the first 2. I didn't watch. I did 1, 2, 3, but I didn't watch any of the seeds, the cults, the bride ones, just because I was like, what is going on? But now I cannot wait to see what's going on.
I can't remember very well, but I think I did the same. 1, 2, for sure. 3, I'm not so sure, but
No,
never after 3.
I didn't see
Nothing.
3 because of the backstory of 3 in the UK. Because obviously the third one got banned in the UK because of the James Bulger murder. This is going back. So in the 90s, and I think I 11 or 12, something like that. But when the third one came out, like, I don't know if it was good or not. People said it wasn't as good as the other ones, but it was meant to be good. But it was available. It came out to the cinemas and it was on DVDs and stuff. I can't remember how old I was, but it's a very famous murder happened in the UK where two young boys, like 13 and 11, tortured and killed one of their friends. And it was a big case in the UK, and it got a lot of press, and everyone was trying to work out why two boys would just gang up on one of their friends and murder him. And it turns out that one of the things they had done before they decided to murder him is the three of them were watching Child's Play 3 together. So everyone blamed Child's Play 3 on it and said it inspired the murders. And the boys were like, yeah, we wanted to be like Chucky. Because, everyone was telling them, and it's like, oh, did you watch the movie? And so I was desperate to see the film, but it got banned, so I couldn't. But I was just like, I don't think Child's Play was what made the kids become murderers. I don't believe that movie and video games turn people violent. I think people already have a pathology for that, and a situation and a past and events that lead them to them wanting to do something like that. And I really just think that the parents should maybe not have allowed them to watch an 18 rated film at the age of 11 and 13. So that's my little soapbox there. Don't, especially if they're
Wow.
prone to violent activities and stuff. So it was a massive case in the UK, and I remember that all the copies of Child's Play 3 were just suddenly like all taken off the shelves and everything. So I was a teenager at the time, and I was like, oh, I can't watch the third one now. And oh my goodness, who watches like a movie and does that? So yeah,
For a personal experience, I worked as a writer for video games. I didn't turn into a serial killer, and I wrote pretty violent games. The moment you write or realize something violent and you put the parental advisor on the DVD case, CD case, game case, you basically are warning the parents that that product is not for children. It's your choice if you want to let your child play that game, watch that movie, listen to that music, or whatever. If you know, and you should be the one to know, that your child has problems, behavioral problems, troubles with realizing what's real and what's fake, trouble to realize the difference between a movie and reality, then it's not on me. It's not on the people who produced the product, is not on the people who acted in the product, is not on the people who coded the game or whatever. No, it's on you. I never believed that violence seen on TV or at the theaters or through a video game can make you do something that you are not already planning.
yeah, exactly. You already have to have a predisposition to that kind of thinking. So yeah, Child's Play 3 has always had a big like cultural significance here because it was one of the first like ever cases of like completely outright banning a film because apparently it caused children to become murderers. So it'd be really interesting to see it and see like how what it presents that got it such harsh treatment in the UK.
I don't know because I didn't watch it yet, but I think it was more an alibi than anything else. They needed to blame something. They probably needed to find a reason why two children so young tortured and killed their friends. So they blamed the movie because that was the
Yeah.
thing that was cool in that moment. Perhaps I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but hey, we
Oh,
are going
just
to watch the
we're
movie.
gonna watch
So
it, and I'll probably do some reading up on the case to kind of see, and also find
yeah,
out when it was unbanned, because that would be interesting to know, like, how long it was banned for, because I never got past that one, because I won't watch something unless I can watch every part. So to have a missing part was like, no, I cannot continue the franchise until I see the third one. So at some point, obviously, it must have been overturned. But I don't know at what point. Huh, to the research. I like the research.
She loves lists.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love a list.
she will make a long list of when it was unbanned, when it was banned, what happened during the case, and some more list because she loves lists. So yeah.
Yeah.
So if Zai doesn't have anything else to say,
No, no more.
thank you for listening. And if you want to let us know what you think of this cult, drop us a line on our Twitter account at beneath underscore your, or on our Facebook page, Beneath Your Skin. We have a Tumblr, Beneath Your Skin 2020, and you can listen to us on Spotify or Pinecast. Thank you for listening, and bye bye. See you next time.
It's always a pleasure, Gaia. I'm super excited to be doing this franchise. Obviously, anyone wants to say hey, just let Zoe spoil you on Twitter, and I'll catch you all later. But for now, byesy byes.